welcome back to the Roger Reviews channel. And guys, recently I put out a post on the community tab where you guys could choose the next lineup that I would be reviewing. And that lineup that won was the Bad Batch. So without further ado, we're going to start it off with the Star Wars Black Series Hunter from the Bad Batch line. Looking at the front of this box, it looks incredible. I love, the overall look with, the figure right here in the window, the Black Series logo up on top, the name of the lineup he's from, and his name down here. And on the side of the box, you of course get this beautiful mural shown right here, which does connect into other parts of the mural. So for example, if you have multiple characters that go with the lineup, it creates a much bigger mural, starting off with Hunter, and right beside him is Crosshair. And in the back, you get a bigger portrait of the character, a description, the number which he falls into the line, and some warnings down here. Here's the bottom of the box, and the top. But I'll go ahead and get Hunter out, and we can go from there. Here he is, out of plastic. And here he is, out of the packaging. And taking a closer look at Hunter, he looks incredible. I love the overall look of that armor plating. I'm sure that is going to be a really great start to this lineup. And I'll go ahead and start from top to bottom. Checking out the head sculpt, it looks like nothing I've ever seen before. And you can definitely see the amount of detail that was put into it is spot on to what you've seen, throughout the cartoon series, into a more lifelike look. That being with the Temuera Morrison sort of like face on that sculpt right there. Looks incredible. He does have this longer hair with the bandana right here on top. I like that little skull right here on the side. And speaking of skull, he does have this sort of like face paint resembling a skull right here on the side of his face. Here's a closer look at that face sculpt. Looks incredible. And then of course you can see that little tiny skull detail in the bandana. I'm pretty sure that that's what they're going for as far as the look. But every time I see Hunter, he reminds me of Rambo. So every time I see, this sort of like look for the character, it just immediately goes to that sort of like thought. But yeah, overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. And then, of course, there are tiny, printed details with the photo tech being in the eyes, the eyebrows, and just overall, really nice sculpt. Articulation, he does have a joint at the neck and the top of the head, so you get plenty of movement side to side, back, and forward. Checking out the torso, he does have this sort of like giant chest plate, and the Bad Batch always have like this gray color to their armor. So that's the majority of what you're seeing right there. There are some battle scars and little indentures from the battles they've fought. And then in the back, there is a little peg to place his backpack piece. But yeah, there's a better look at that battle damage scene on the chest plate, and there's multiple battle damage like scars and indentures throughout the armor pieces, like you can see on the sort of like shoulder pads as well. And he does have a ball joint right here in the upper waist, so your side to side, back, and forward. Checking out the arms now. Arm sticks out pretty well. It is able to go around pretty smoothly, and you do have to sort of maneuver that shoulder pad because it is connected to the joint right here near the shoulder. As far as like a butterfly joint, there's a slight butterfly joint right there. And then checking out the elbow. Elbow does go up right there. Has a nice swivel on the sort of like elbow piece, and a swivel at the wrist and at the hand. The other side as well. Arm sticks out about there. It does go all the way around with help with the shoulder pad. Again, that butterfly joint is somewhat there, but it's not like a full rotation. Elbow goes up, swivel at the elbow, and articulation at the wrist and at the hand. Here's some better close-ups of the battle damage scene and some of the decals that are shown. And real quick, he does have this like extended piece right here on the left, sort of like forearm piece, and this is to store the hunting knife. Checking out the waist now, nothing too crazy going on right here, just this gray or a light gray piece, and surprisingly, no grenade. And now checking out the legs, Hunter can go into a full-on split. He is able to sit down very nicely, and the legs go back pretty far. And he does have some swivel right here at the thigh. The knees do go into a kneeling position. And then checking out right here near the knee pads, this is very interesting. So the knee pads are connected to the sort of like thigh armor plating. So it's very different from what we're used to. And maybe I'll test out if he's able to kneel, things like that. But lastly, looking over the feet right here, they do point down pretty good, point up, and there is rock wrinkles to give us good action poses. And now checking out the accessories, he comes with a helmet. Checking out the helmet, it is in this unique style that we've never seen before, as far as, with the Bad Batch, and it's pretty cool. So it's a combination of very interesting sort of like pieces. You got kind of like the bottom part of like a phase 2. The visor is unique, and overall the paint job is amazing. Love that light gray, and the red really brings it out. And to put it on, it's made of a very durable, flimsy plastic. So you just push that on there, and it hides the head part pretty good. So yeah, you can still get the same amount of movement. Nothing's interfering. Up next, he comes with a backpack piece. Checking out the backpack piece. This is, some of their high quality gear. So it's seen some better days. Some battle damage throughout it. Of course, that gray and red color. And then in the back, you do get the peg. To place the backpack piece, pretty simple. All you do is just match it up with the peg. It's very durable and it won't come off. Up next, he has the hunting knife. Checking out the knife, it's pretty cool. We don't really get a lot of melee weapons in the Star Wars universe, but whenever we come across it, it's very unique. So of course you do get the blade right here, showing that awesome detail right there, and the brown grip. And it goes very nicely in the palm of his hand, so it's very, durable, won't come out of the hand, and yeah, fits like a glove. And of course, if you're not going to use the knife anymore, you just stick it right here, pops in very nicely in that little compartment, and yeah, works really well. Up next, we have a blaster pistol. Checking out the pistol, it's your typical like standard clone pistol, nothing too crazy, just goes in that black color. And of course, the pistol does fit very nicely in the palm of his hand, and you can do some pretty cool like tactical shots, things like that, with the knife and pistol combo. And last but not least, he comes with a rifle. Checking out the clone rifle, there's of course the ones that the clone commandos would use, so it's, one of the more top tier type of weapons. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the other attachments would work. Maybe they could, but overall, looks really cool. Has like a magazine here on the side, has this grip, this small muzzle at the front, and then, of course, this really nice gunmetal gray color. And yeah, just like with the other accessories, the rifle is no different from the other ones, so it fits perfect in the palm of his hands, and you can even put the other one right here to add some extra support. So as an overview of the figure, I gotta say, Hunter is a perfect start to this new lineup that we're doing, and at the time, I would say that this was one of the best clone figures that they ever released. The articulation is super smooth, the accessories work super well, and overall, it's basically like, I've explained before with other lineups such as Rebels. Um, Hasbro takes, these characters that we've seen throughout the TV shows and the cartoons and basically makes them into a live action version. And I think it works extremely well, considering we've seen the Bad Batch in the way that they're described and basically the way that they look like actual clone troopers makes it even better. So yeah, I'm not sure what the retail or not retail, sorry, resale value is on Hunter nowadays, but if you manage to come across him, definitely add him to your collection. He is definitely worth it. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this brand new startup to the lineup. And with that said, I'll leave it here. And if you haven't already, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. I'll catch you all on the next one.